Hey guys, welcome to Tablenauts. I'm Doolin, and today I have a pretty straightforward, relaxed video for you guys. These are the top 5 most played games of last year for me. When looking over my stats, and in case you're like, how in the world did you keep up with your stats? I use BG Stats, which is an incredible app that allows me to, after every single play, or even after just seeing a game that I like, I can go in and log it in my wish list or in my played games or in my owned games, whatever. And in case any of you are wondering, I played 1,001 plays of games last year, which I noticed when we got into December that I was getting really close to 1,000, and I was like, you know what? That's my goal. And so we beat it by 1. On top of that, I keep track. I have it connected to my BGA account, Board Game Arena account. And so it tells you in this cool little graph how many games you played in person and how many games you play, because that's the only thing I log. I don't log specific locations. When it asks me location, I either put in person, or like physical, or I put online. And it told me that 71% of my plays were in person, which is honestly a lot higher than I expected. I play a lot of online games, but when I'm with friends, like, we can knock out a whole bunch of games all at once, and I think that's probably what contributes to that the most. So if you're interested at all, not sponsored at all, but BG Stats is an incredible app that if I didn't have, I would be lost in this space a little bit. To count really quickly down from my 5 most played digital games, I'll just go ahead and give you them. Number 5 was Great Western Trail at 14 plays. Loved Great Western Trail last year. Acropolis at 20 plays. It's not as good as it is in person. And then number 3 is... Ooh, okay, so this, I believe, all came in like the last 2 months of the year because it came to BGA. And I just fell in love with the game again. And that's Planet Unknown at 21 plays. 1 more play than Acropolis. Number 2 is not a surprise. We got the Mythic Mischief 2 to play, and we got early access to the app, and me and the rest of the Tablenauts crew just played that like every day, multiple times a day. And then lastly, it's probably been... Not probably, it has been my top digitally most played game over the last 2, maybe 3 years, and that is Root at 35 plays. And that actually feels low. Like 2022, I think I had close to like 90 plays of Root online, which is just nuts. But 35 plays of Root. And so we're going to count down. Let's just go ahead and get into it. The 5 most physically played games, in-person plays. This is actually, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's one of my favorite games that came out this last year. Trailblazer is just incredible. It's this card placement game about trying to build trails that loop back to the starting point. And all of them, in order to score the most points, it doesn't matter how efficient you made your trails in terms of links and looping into each other and all of that stuff. If they don't come all the way back home, then they're not going to score you any points at all. And so I think the reason it saw so many plays was that it's very easy to set up. The cards are just in the box, readily available to pull out, and then you're pretty much ready to go. Solo mode is a blast. There is a scorecard that tells you to use certain objectives, and you have to go for those. And solo mode is really difficult but really fun, and that's very helpful. If I lose a quick game of Trailblazers, then I'm much more likely to jump right back in and play it again, where if I were to just win one quick game, then I probably wouldn't go back to it. I would probably just stop and that would be enough. Number 4. This is a game that I did not finish until 2024, but it's the campaign game that I played solo. So again, 2 games. I think these are the only 2. Yeah, these are the only 2 solo games I played. But the reason they are so high is because of solo play. And I finished this campaign in 2024, and in 2023, I was just constantly, I left it on my solo board that I built, and that's Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. I had 22 logged plays of Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, and this is just like a really cool solo RPG that you can play through. Now, is it my favorite solo RPG? Absolutely not. Tainted Grail, like, absolutely better than this. There's even some, like, there's some games I played that I would say have way better stories than the Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion story. But the reason you play this isn't because of necessarily the story, it's because of how cool the gameplay is. And the gameplay shines. It's one of the best, like, in terms of fighting, like RPGs I've ever played, like really, really well made. The card system and leveling up is so fun. Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, great. I think the reason, again, it got the most plays, or fourth most plays, is because of my solo board. This has been a really great way to get games that can be left out done. And so, yeah, Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, great. Got back to it a whole bunch of times. Number 3 through 1 are very light games. But they found their way to the table multiple times, and that reflects on how good they are. Number 3, at 30 plays, and this was just logged plays, because you can play this game so fast, so quickly. I don't even know if we necessarily play by the actual rules where we declare winner super quickly, and that's Tapple. Tapple by the Op Games is so good. It's so fun. Out of all of my games, yeah, this is the easiest teach, and that is easily why it has the most plays, is because every time we're at a party, or regardless of if there are people there that are old, young, into games, not into games, this was really easy to start playing immediately. If they're like, what is this? I have us start playing within the teach within about 15 seconds, filled with intense, like, excitement and laughter afterward as somebody can't think of a word, or maybe even fudges one that is extremely debatable whether or not it would fit. Again, it's just a great game. Number 2 is also a great game, and arguably came out this year. It came out this year in the States. At a whopping 34 plays came Sea Salt and Paper, which this was easily the most played game of this last year. But the thing is, I did not combine in-person and digital plays, and this was the only game I think that really crossed between the two. And so that's 34 in-person plays, which easily the person I played this with the most was just Emily and I. It is probably our go-to for this last year when it came to just, it's so good and it's so quick and it's so light that introducing this to new people, like, it's the first thing I think Emily mentions is, can we play Sea Salt and Paper with them? And so that was number 2. Again, ease of play. Emily and I easily playing it a whole bunch. It should not come as too much of a shock. And what's cool is that this game is kind of taking over the hobby space a bit. Like, it's something that I've seen so many channels mention being a good game to get. But it's crazy, like, that we have this many plays. 39 plays, considering it's not a 2-player game, it's 3+. But it's just like Tapple. It's the game that constantly gets brought to parties. This is the trio or nana combo. In case you don't know what this game is, it's like, it gets described all the time as Gamers Go Fish, which I like, mixed with maybe like those old, like, memory games you have, you've probably played before. But your whole goal is to create triples, and you can ask everyone at the table after you've put your cards in the proper order, which is from lowest to highest. What is your lowest card? Or what is your highest card? Or you can flip over one of the cards at the middle of the table. And at any point in time, you can ask yourself those questions, so you know your hand, but you don't know everybody else's. And over time, after other people are asking those questions and revealing them to the whole table, you yourself will start to realize where triples are with your hand and with everybody else's hand and with what has been revealed on the table. And so there's strategy, but it is one of those games where it's just fun. It's just a blast. And every single time I've played this with a group of people, like, it's been one of those where they've asked to run it back, which is why 39 plays makes sense to me. Don't know where any of these fit when it comes to my top 50. I didn't look that up beforehand. But again, there's something to be said about all of these games being somewhat affordable and seeing the table so much. I like that. And if we were to do a video talking about like the most bang for your buck games, I bet you all 5 of these would be on that list. And so I think that's important for you all. I pay attention when other people are sharing these lists, because it's like, okay, they have their preferences, they have the games that they like the most, but maybe those games aren't getting played. Like for me, Root is one of my favorite games of all time, but it sits on my shelf a lot because I'm playing the digital version. And so is it like monetarily smart for me to own all of that? I don't know. But for these games, they absolutely are monetarily smart, because I've gotten so much more out of them than I paid for them. So if you're looking for a game that you think might hit your table a bunch because of different reasons that I shared, look into these. These are great games. And also on top of that, I'd love to hear what your top played games of last year were. What are the ones that you're getting your money's worth in? Because honestly, I'll look into them. I love hearing that a game hit for you that often. And so let me down in the comments. Let me know on Discord, wherever you are and you're connected to Tablenauts. Come talk to us. Thank you guys so much for watching.